Hello guys and welcome back. Till now we have seen different modules in Autodesk Inventor. We have seen how to make sketches for modeling purposes, and then we learned to make part modeling in Autodesk Inventor. So today, moving forward from part modeling, we are starting assembly in Autodesk Inventor. So today will be an introductory session, and I will just give you an idea of how the layout is for Autodesk Inventor assembly and what are different approaches for doing assembly in Inventor. And then from tomorrow we will start learning different approaches and basic concepts of Autodesk Inventor assembly. Similar to part modeling, when we click on new here, we have options to select whatever module we want to start, whatever template we want to select. So here we will select standard assembly. You can see that this window will open. Here you can see in the model tree it's written as assembly 3. Here you can see that we have different options over there. These options are very different from what we have seen in part modeling taskbar. Clicking here, we have different options like place. This option is used to place any part from any folder which we have already created. The second option is placing from the content center. So what is content center? Content center is basically a standard library of standard parts like bolts, screw, fasteners, uh, and so a few more standard parts which are universal all over the world, like connectors, mold, shaft parts, etc., clamps, o-rings. You can see all the options here. We will see all these options in the future. Here you have option of uh, placing imported CAD file. So if you have any AutoCAD files on which you want to make your assembly, you can import the CAD files. You can import step and IGS files from here. If you have iLogic components made, you can place them from here. And then lastly, there is an electric catalog, which is for engineers who use electrical and wiring components in their assemblies. Here we have option of create a part in place. So if we don't have any standard part to place in our assembly, or neither do we have any pre-made parts by ourselves, then we can click on the create and we can create a part here only, but here the part modeling will be activated. So this is how components are placed in assembly. You can see that you have different options which are not highlighted till now. Just we will just place a part for example, so that uh, all these options will get highlighted here. You can see that all of the options here are highlighted here. Free move. So if you click on free move and if you select the component and move, you can move that component easily. Similarly, rotate is also there. You have to select the component and then you have to rotate. This rotate you can do with Control G. It's a shortcut. There are a lot of shortcuts for Autodesk Inventor. You can see, you can find them on internet also. Then we have an option of joint here. So in assembly, the constraints are similar to what we have seen in part modeling. Not similar, but the concept of the constraint is similar. Like in part, when we were sketching, we have to make every point and every line fixed on a place so that it does not get any errors in the future. Similarly, in assembly, we have to give constraints to each and every parts relative to each another, or relative to the origin or the planes of the origin, so that the assembly is fixed at one place and no error is there in future. So there are two methods of fixing one component to other. If you have a definite fixing like a shaft and a bearing, then you can go with this joint. You will just have to select the whole of that component, and then you can select the part of that diameter of the shaft, and it will come together. We will see this in practical use in the future in our next sessions. Similarly, these are the manual constraint options. These all are manual constraint options. We will see each of them in next session, and we can use these to bind one component to another. We can flush them, we can mat them, we can give relative angles to them. We can do a lot of things, and we can make those components fix relative to each other. We have pattern and mirror and copy options similar to that in part modeling. We have hide all and show. So when we give constraints, the constraint will get listed here below each part, so that we can see which constraint is given related to which part. But if you want to see all the constraint in assembly here, just click on show all, click on that part. Now you can see a constraint here. When you move your cursor on that constraint image, you will see that it will highlight the constraint between these two objects. If you want to hide this constraint, you will click on hide all. We also have a bill of materials here. So if you have so many components in your assembly and you want to make a standard bill of materials, the materials used in your assembly, the finishing which you need on those parts, you can generate the bill of material from clicking here. You will have a lot of options to generate bill of materials, and it will show each and every part and part details which you have used in the assembly. Then we have parameters here. The parameters in assembly are similar to that in part modeling. In parameters, you can create different parameters, different key parameters which can drive your assembly. So what parameters are needed for? So if you want to make one constraint or one dimension, your master dimension or master constraint, you can make that constraint your key constraint, and whenever you change that constraint, the whole of the assembly will change according to that. We have seen the plane axis and the point system in part modeling also. We have two new options here, shrink wrap and substitute. These both are advanced options in assembly, so we will see them, study them in the last session of our assembly learning. Now clicking on the design tab, we have different options here like bolt connection, clevis, insert frame, frame analysis, shaft, spur gear. All these options we can use to design a mechanical assembly through some standard methods, and it will generate standard parts. We can make all this in Inventor assembly. Now we have 3D model. All these features are similar to what we have seen in part model. We can make sketch in the assemblies, and we can make extrude cuts. Assume that there is a hole, there is a pin which passes through both these solids. So how you can make that hole similar in both the objects? So the easiest method is, first of all, you align both the parts in our assembly, then we will insert the pin here, and then we will make extrude cut in the assembly itself, and we will see that there is no interference between the pin and both these parts. We have these features similar to the sketch we have seen in part modeling. It will be used for all these features. Then we have annotate. Annotate is generally used for showing dimensions in your assemblies, you can highlight your dimensions, highlight as different relations, different parameters in your assembly. Whole thread knot, surface texture knot, leader text, general knot, every knot you can highlight in your assembly. In inspect, we have analyze interference. So if these two parts are colliding or are interfering with each other in the assembly, we can click on interference. We will define both the sets and we will click OK, and it will show us where and how much the interference is there. We also have context solver. So if some part is interfering, we can use context solver to see what changes we can do to make that interference disappear. Then we have measurement. We can use the scale to measure different lengths, angles, radius, everything we can measure from this measure tool. In tools, we have different material appearance settings which we have already seen in part modeling. Then we have application and document settings. These settings are universal in any module of AutoCAD, Autodesk Inventor. One setting I would like to do here now is, when we place this component, it was free to move. It is also freely moving now. But generally what helps is, when we can ground a part when we first insert it in our assembly. So clicking over assembly here, we can activate this option, place and ground first component at origin. So now when we bring our first part in the assembly, you can see that it is already grounded. What does it mean by being grounded? So this part, you can see a pin icon here. It shows that the part is grounded. So this part is grounded over the origin. We'll see that the origin, this part's origin and the origin of the assembly are coinciding. This helps a lot in doing assemblies, so that our first component is easily grounded and we can place other components related to this component. So basically this is the layout for assembly in Autodesk Inventor, and from next session we will learn the three aspects, three approaches of assembly, that is top down, bottom up and middle out. We will make simple assemblies going forward. We will make parts and assemble them in Autodesk Inventor. We will see different options for constraints and how those parts assemble, and what we can do to make our assembly smart. We will see all the three approaches and you can use those approaches according to your wishes. There is no specific rule that you have to use bottom up or top down assembly approach. It's 100% up to you. Either approach you like, you can use them. So guys, thank you for watching the video. If you like the video and if you find it useful for your learning process, please subscribe to my channel for such videos in future, and also like and share this video to your friends. Thank you.